Okay, let's do a proof. Here we have two triangles. We have a diagram with two triangles, triangles RNQ and triangle TNR. We want to prove that they're congruent. Now there are three ways that you can prove triangles are congruent. One is the side, side, side. One is angle, side, angle. And the other is side, angle, side. We want to determine which one of these we're going to use to prove that these triangles are congruent. And it's going to have to do with with what's given here. So notice that it says RQ is parallel to TR. So RQ is up here, and it is parallel to TR down there. Okay. It also says that N is the midpoint of RT. Now I know by the midpoint theorem that if N is the midpoint of RT, then two congruent line segments are formed, Rn and Tn. So I'm going to put a mark here to show that they're congruent. Okay, so we've marked up the diagram according to what's given. Now we need to think a little bit, okay? We know right off the bat that we have a pair of sides that are congruent. This side, I'm going to put an S here and an S here. This side in triangle RNQ is congruent to this side in triangle TNR. So that's a good first step. Now let's look again at the diagram. Why would this information be given, that RQ is parallel to TR? Well, when you think parallel lines, think about things like alternate interior angles, corresponding angles, or same side interior angles. And one of the things that I notice right off is that angle R up at the top here and angle T down at the bottom are alternate interior angles. So I'm going to mark those as congruent. I'm going to put a little arc here by the R, okay, and a little arc down here by the T to show that they're congruent. So now we have A. We've shown that a pair of alternate interior angles are equal. So we know that they're congruent. We have a reason for it. It's because alternate interior angles are always congruent. Okay, now I want you to notice also that angle Q up at the top and angle R down at the bottom, those are also alternate interior angles. And I might use those, but I'm thinking actually that I might not, because I don't like the placement of them. I see a better opportunity here. And if you notice, angle R and Q, this angle right here, I'm going to put 2 marks there. It is a vertical angle with T and R. So now right off the bat, I know that angle RNQ is congruent to angle TNR because they're vertical angles. So I'm going to put an A here and then A in this triangle, okay? And you can see how everything's in order. We have ASA, angle, side, angle. And now we have everything we need to write out a 2-column proof. So let's write this out. Okay, this column is going to be statements. So I'm going to put an S there. And this column is going to be reasons. And I'm going to write the first statement, first reason here, okay? Because we're using ASA, I like to start with an angle, okay? I want to show, okay, that a pair of angles are congruent, okay? And we talked about why angle R is congruent to angle T. Angle R is congruent to angle T, and because they are alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are congruent if the lines are parallel, which they are. So alternate interior angles are, and I'm using abbreviations here, are congruent. Okay, great. So now I'm going to cross out an A here. Now we have the S, okay, from ASA. So that'll be my second statement. We know that RN, that line segment, is congruent to line segment TN. Okay, and that's by the midpoint theorem. So I'll just put midpoint theorem. Okay, so I can cross out the S up here. We just have one more pair of angles to show our congruent, and we already found those. That is angle, it's the vertical angles R and Q. So I'm going to try to fit this in here. Angle R and Q is congruent to angle TNR. TNR. Nice, okay. And those are congruent because vertical angles are congruent. Okay, so I'm going to cross out the A up here. So we've given a statement and reason for each criteria. That's angle, side angle. And the last step is a formality. What you do is you write, okay, step 4, and you always just write down what the proof is. It says, okay, you're trying to prove that triangle R and Q is congruent to a triangle. I don't know if I'm going to have enough room. I'll try anyway. Triangle TNR. And the reason is, I'll just write angle, side angle. Okay, and that's it. Our 2-column proof is done.